This is episode 91 of Parenting with the Focused Mindset. Hello, welcome to the podcast. This is episode 91 of Parenting with the Focused Mindset. I'm Cher Kretz. I'm the host of this show, and I know that parenting is quite the journey, and it doesn't always turn out as planned. But in this show, we talk about how you can bring your best self to the people that you love and into your family each and every day. And this week, we've been talking about bullying. We've been talking about that important subject because of this month of October. But no matter what month you're listening to this podcast in, you know that taking bullying seriously can save lives. It can save people's, the way that they look at themselves. And it's an important thing for us to pause. It's an important thing for us to pause and talk about it. So we know how to support not only our own kids, but our family members. We want to help kids not only feel confident and empowered, but we also need to teach them how they cannot be a bully. All right, so in this episode, let's unpack that a little bit. When a child is bullying and you are the one getting the phone call from the teacher saying that they're the one that's hitting or not being kind or choosing to say the unkind words, or you end up reading something that they've texted people that is just cruel, it can just break your heart. It can just make you feel angry. All of the emotions well up with us. Why? Because we want our kids to be their best self. We want them to treat people fairly. In most cases, we've trained them to do so. I want you to know that children fall into these type of behaviors. And rather than looking at it like, oh, I'm just so mad, or they embarrassed me, or what in the world am I going to do? Let's reframe it a little bit today. Let's know that we can actually make a difference for our children. I know that many of you guys have shared your stories with me already. And one particular person came up to me when they knew that I was doing this series. And they said, I love the way you're talking about how to bully, but what happens when your own child is the bully? I am sick and tired of getting calls from my school. No matter what I do, my child is going back to school and still just being mean. The mean girl, this is their daughter, involved in isolating and leaving people out and feeling power from that. And I asked, how are you taking care of that situation? Really, it's a matter of discussing it. And I'm so glad that she brought it up, because if you just stay there and stew and try to keep getting your child in trouble, then it's kind of like the definition of insanity, right? You expect a different result, but you keep handling it the exact same way. So I am so thankful for parents that care enough to stand up and say, I'm going to look for a different type of way of taking care of this. What happens if you sat down with your child and you ask them, what's happening when you do that? And ask them some very important questions of saying, how did you feel right beforehand, right after? What was the feeling that you felt? And allow them to kind of understand that feeling that they get of powering over someone is what's happening, and then help them to see it from the other person's point of view. And you can't do that when you're angry and mad at them. You've got to do that in a time when things are kind of calm, and you can say, let's reframe this. This is a struggle for you. I can tell that you're really struggling and that you're caught in a cycle and you're caught in a circle of continuing to act like this. And I can't make you stop. No matter what I do, you could go back to school and handle this in the exact same way. But let's look at it in a different type of light and have an actual, just a regular conversation about it that doesn't have to do with getting in trouble. It doesn't have to do with punishment at the end of it or shaming or anything like that. Because the times when I've seen that bullies choose to have a different behavior is when I can discuss with them, if they were to try a different way of approaching it, what would that look like? Guess what? many times they're worried that their own reputation is going to get ruined, of the person that's on top, the person that's leading the situation. They're worried about how they're going to be viewed by others. And so they double down on the meanness because they feel like that's the way that they can keep their power. So in much the same way that we've been talking about how we want to empower those that are being bullied, we need to help the bully redefine what power is. They need to understand that they can be a force that can be so proud of themselves, and they can actually move things in a different direction. I've sat down with kids and I've talked to them outside of everyone else, and it's like, hey, it's just between you and I. And I remember one fourth grader, he was like, yeah, I could stop being mean, but I just don't know how to at this point. I don't know how. And I thought, how weird is that? Like, just stop. No, it's not that easy in their social world sometimes, because now they're known to be that person and they are expected almost to play a role within their social space. So can you sit down and empathize? Can you step away from the anger, step away from the disappointment, step away from the punishment even, and say, this must be a challenge for you to get rid of, or you wouldn't keep doing it. Explain to me what is happening. What's happening right before, what's happening after? And then say, who is it affecting? What is your behavior? How is it affecting others? Rather than saying, how is it making others feel? And that is important, but how is it affecting the environment, other people? How are if they're leaders, how are other people following you? And is that the type of leader that really makes the kind of impact that they want to make in life? And I just find that those kids that are bullies are sometimes leaders just waiting to come out, and they're just leading in the wrong direction. They're leading in the wrong way. They're finding power through all of the wrong methods. Sometimes they're finding power because they don't have a lot of power in any other place in their life. And that's the one place that they feel important. Well, guess what? When you begin to look at this person as a human being that's struggling with an issue, then you can help them unpack it. You could say, what could you try? What could you try tomorrow to change this? And if they see the value in trying and they know that you have their back, aside from if they get in trouble or not, then rather than being sneaky and just keeping on being mean, they might try something different. They might choose to change their own actions, which will change the whole situation. I know that this sometimes is more challenging than we want to admit when we're a parent, because we just want to say, don't do it, and that's the way it should be, and you just get in line and just do the right thing. But it's a lot more complicated than this. You're dealing with a human being with feelings and a social world around them. And I know that by taking yourself and looking at it through their worldview and understanding it through their eyes, that you are going to be a big help in helping your child move right past this problem. Knowing that there is an answer at the end of it all. There is a way to get through this and walk away from that bullying altogether. And it might surprise you when they might choose to apologize to that person and actually make up for it. I have seen people that one child was bullying another, and through helping them through this process, they become really good friends. Think about what's possible and steer away from just villainizing or just being mad or whatever the case may be that's on the negative side of it. And let's look for the solutions in each one of these challenging issues when it comes to bullying. And I'm going to tell you a little story next podcast, which will be tomorrow, about this same subject. So check out my show notes. Feel free to follow me on my social media. I'm growing my YouTube page, Cher, my name, CHER, The Focused Mindset. You could check stuff out over there. Many times I'll put videos along with the audio over there. And you can help me grow that if you'd like to. Just like I'm so thankful that you are listening right now and helping me grow the audio of the podcast. So thank you for listening to Parenting with the Focused Mindset. And until next time, keep in touch and take care.